1 arena, 2 marshals, 7 combatants and 30 fights. Welcome to the first monthly medieval tournament.
Global Domination Incorporated presents
NVG Handakis Garrison Real Steel Weapons Monthly Medieval Tournament. Hosted by the new Varangian Guard Handakis Garrison. Brought to you out of Adelaide, South Australia. GDI is proud to present some of the finest steel weapons fighters from around the state, battling it out each and every month for your viewing pleasure and the honour of holding the Champions tokens. So sit back and enjoy the NVG Handakis Medieval Tournament.
Tonight in the Handakis Training Hall we have something extra special for you. Not only are we bringing you 7 of South Australia's finest steel weapons fighters, duking it out for your viewing pleasure, but we're going to make them fight extra hard. Because this is the first tournament of the year, we have 2 awards up for grabs. First up, we have Thorvald's Pin, which is the monthly championship token of the Handakis tourney. Second of all, we have the Champion's Cloak, which is only handed out twice a year, so you can be sure competition will be fierce for that one. Now, before we begin, we're going to take you over for a brief description of the rules of our combat system, so you can better understand what you're watching.
There are essentially 2 levels of wounds in our sport. There's a leg hit, which is worth 1 point, and there's a body or head hit worth 2 points. Now, the vast majority of our fighters only have 2 hit points, so will be killed immediately by a body or head blow, but our first officer, Henry, has 3 hit points. Now, if you lose your round but you hit your opponent, you get 1 point. If you kill each other, you both get 2 points. If you win your round but your opponent hits you, you get 3 points. And if you flawlessly win your round, you get 4 points. At the end of the night, all of the scores are added up, and the fighter with the highest score is declared the winner. Now let's move straight on to Fight 1, Yngve versus Ulfjart.
Thank you, Stephen! Ulfjart and Yngve, 2 very strong fighters with impressive stature. Ulfjart represents the Viking warriors out of Denmark, a practitioner of the two-handed spear and well known to be damn good with it. Yngve will no doubt use the trickiness of defending with the two-handed spear to his advantage, but Ulfjart has a reputation of managing it quite well nonetheless.
And here we see Yngve and Ulfjart lining up against each other. Ulfjart with the two-handed spear, of course. Yngve in the blue with that enormous shield which he's brought into this fight. He's learned quite a bit of respect for Ulfjart's spear over the last few weeks, so he seems to be playing the defensive game at the moment. Ulfjart moving very, very well on the floor. You can see he's quite quick on his feet and with his hands. You can see the shifts in their position along his spear when he's switching from offensive to defensive mode. It's very fast and very skilled. It's a pleasure to watch, really. It makes spear work look like the art form it is. Still having a lot of trouble finding his way past Yngve's shield, though. Yngve definitely sticking to the defensive game. He's not making a lot of... Oh! Well, there we go. Just as I was saying, Yngve had no offensive moves. He moves. Ulfjart, there we are, catching Yngve on the leg on his way in, so that'll be a punt for Ulfjart. And then Yngve laying his blade along Ulfjart's ribs, which is, of course, a killing blow, scoring him the victory for this round. Very nice, clean kill there. Lovely fight to watch. And it's always good to see the fighters giving a bow to each other, showing that little bit of respect.
Now we take our first look at the scoreboard for this evening, and after round 1, we have Yngve with 3 points and Ulfjart scoring 1 for his clever leg shot. Moving on to Fight 2, Guthrum versus Urusti.
I'm very eager to see what the newest fighter Guthrum can do. Having authorized only 1 week before this tournament, the rumors follow him from his homeland that he is extremely focused and intense on the battlefield. He's very fast with that hand axe, and the way he handles that little shield, you'd think it was a protective bubble of jelly. Let's see how good he is against Urusti.
And here we see Guthrum facing off against the previous reigning champion, Urusti. Both fighters taking round shields in. Rusty on the right there, preferring his sword to Guthrum's axe. And already Guthrum right on the offensive. He's got a real reputation already as an aggressive fighter who will always be on the push. And, oh! Beautiful shot there, right into a Rusty's ribs. But it seems the fighters are having a little bit of a chat on the floor there. Rusty's not accepting the shot for some reason. Well, we'll have a look at that later as the fighters press on. And still Guthrum pushing right on the offensive there. He doesn't like to sit back, this man. Well, there we are. He left his helmet just a little bit exposed over the top of his shield. And Rusty taking full advantage, showing us why he was the previous reigning champion. Now let's have a look at that shot from Guthrum again in slow-mo. And see, it arcs around, definitely makes contact, perhaps a little light though. And let's take a look again with a few freeze frames in if we can. You can definitely see Guthrum looking right over, spotting the opening, swinging in to make good contact with Rusty's ribs. But again, perhaps a little light, and the decisions that are made on the floor do stand.
After that big fight, Rusty moving straight up with 4 points onto the scoreboard, shooting into an early lead as we move on to fight 3, Eyjolf versus Ulfjart.
Eyjolf, the youngest and lightest fighter in this tourney, up against Ulfjart, the resident expert in the two-handed spear. Eyjolf is also one of our newest recruits, having authorized just 1 week before the tournament. But he's made the very brave decision of starting out with one of the hardest weapons to master. Let's see how Eyjolf fares against Ulfjart with the two-handed spear.
We see young Eyjolf awaiting the approach of Ulfjart. And comes in the black pants, Eyjolf in the blue. Ulfjart, of course, towering over Eyjolf. And he has a longer spear and more experience with it, so it's going to be quite difficult for Eyjolf to get through this fight. Let's see how he goes. Ulfjart immediately pushing on the offensive, but Eyjolf doing a good job of deflecting there. Ulfjart continues to press. And said that two spears fighting against each other is quite a lot like jousting. You basically only got one attack direction and lots of different ways to defend against it, so it can be quite difficult to actually get through. Both of them having a little trouble at the moment. They're both quite good at defense, of course, and they're taught from the same school, so perhaps finding each other's movements relatively easy. Ooh, a narrow miss there. Oh, a big opening there. I think Eyjolf just showed a little bit of inexperience in not going for that kill shot. And Ulfjart showing him the error of his ways and finishing him off in due order. Still a very good attempt by young Eyjolf, and he held him off for quite a while, showing good defensive work. So look, there's that wide open Ulfjart spear caught. Eyjolf did go for a shot, but a little bit late. And Ulfjart pinning him by the hip.
After a duel of the spears, Ulfjart adds 4 points to his tally, shooting to overtake Rusty and lead the tournament as we go into fight 4, Yngve versus Rusty.